The question landed like a sudden crack of thunder in a quiet warehouse on the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, and in that frozen moment, a lifetime of sacrifice, loss, and quiet determination stood exposed under harsh fluorescent lights. What began as an ordinary inspection day for a powerful manufacturing company turned into a revelation that no one present would ever forget, because a battered red toolbox resting beside a loading dock carried a symbol that was never meant to be seen again, and the single father standing next to it had spent years making sure of that. Before this story unfolds any further, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Michael Carter had learned to live unnoticed. Every morning before dawn, he drove his dented pickup through empty American highways, dropping his 8-year-old son Noah at a neighbor's house before reporting to work as a maintenance contractor for a sprawling logistics facility. His hands were always rough, his clothes always stained with grease, and his eyes carried the permanent tiredness of a man who never quite slept enough. Life had not been kind since his wife Rebecca passed away from a sudden illness years earlier, leaving him to navigate grief, fatherhood, and survival all at once. The toolbox he carried everywhere was older than most of the machines he repaired, scarred with dents and rust, but he guarded it like a treasure because it was the last physical reminder of a life he had once lived and quietly walked away from. That life came rushing back the day Thomas Whitaker, the CEO of a nationally known industrial equipment company, arrived for an unannounced site visit. Whitaker was known across the United States as a sharp-eyed leader who noticed details others missed, and as he toured the warehouse floor, his attention locked onto the faded logo stamped on Michael's toolbox. It was the same logo that adorned his corporate headquarters, the same emblem investors associated with success and innovation, and seeing it scratched and peeling on a contractor's worn equipment unsettled him deeply. The moment stretched, drawing the attention of supervisors and workers alike, and Michael felt the weight of years pressing down on his chest as he realized there was no longer any place to hide. Michael's mind drifted back to a younger version of himself, a man with hope in his stride and confidence in his voice, back when he was an engineer at Whitaker Industries. He had been one of the earliest hires, working late nights designing systems that later generated millions in revenue. He believed in the company's mission, believed in building something that mattered, and for a time, he believed success would mean security for his growing family. But when internal politics grew ruthless and credit for his work quietly shifted upward, Michael made a choice that changed everything. He walked away without a lawsuit, without a public fight, signing away stock options to keep his integrity intact, and he packed his life into that toolbox, choosing peace over recognition. Years later, peace came at a steep cost. Rebecca's death shattered the fragile balance he had built, and Michael took whatever work he could find to keep food on the table and a roof over Noah's head. He fixed machines, cleaned warehouses, and swallowed his pride daily, never once explaining his past to coworkers who assumed he had always lived on the margins. The logo on the toolbox was not a badge of pride for him. It was a reminder of love lost, dreams altered, and a promise he had made to himself to protect his son from bitterness. As Whitaker's inspection halted and the unspoken tension filled the air, Michael finally allowed the truth to surface through actions rather than words. He opened the toolbox to reveal meticulously organized tools, many custom-built, some clearly prototypes far ahead of what most contractors carried. The quality of his work, the elegance of his fixes, and the near reverence with which he handled each piece told a story that no resume ever could. Supervisors watched as Whitaker slowly pieced together the realization that brilliance does not always sit in corner offices and that some of the company's greatest minds had chosen silence over applause. In the days that followed, Michael's life began to shift in ways he never expected. Whitaker ordered a full review of archived projects, uncovering Michael's early contributions and the quiet exit that had saved the company a scandal years earlier. Instead of offering pity, Whitaker extended something far rarer in corporate America: respect. Michael was offered a leadership role focused on mentoring young engineers and improving field operations, a position that honored his experience without forcing him back into the politics he had fled. More importantly, the stability allowed Michael to be present for Noah, to attend school events, to breathe without constant fear of the next bill. Just before the ending, please take a moment to comment and share what this story made you feel, because your voice matters more than you know. On his first official day in his new role, Michael carried the same battered toolbox into the building, setting it gently beside his desk. It no longer felt like a secret or a burden but a symbol of resilience, of a man who chose character over credit and love over legacy. The warehouse floor looked the same, the machines hummed as always, but something fundamental had changed. A single dad who once fixed broken systems in silence was finally seen, not for what he had lost, but for who he had always been. If this story touched your heart, moved you emotionally, or reminded you that kindness and integrity still matter, please like, comment, and engage with this video. Your support helps stories like this reach others who may need hope today.